Alright boys, the Kama event is just a few days away, and with the event, Kama will be going on raid up, and normally this is like, oh, should you summon for this servant, or this servant is a little bit better than you thought she was. But for Kama, it's like, yeah, this servant is borderline a must summon for everyone in the game, because no matter what your box looks like, you can basically use Kama in anything. Like, I don't even have Scotty, and I'm going to be summoning for Kama just because I think she's that good. Although, obviously, if you have Scotty, then at that point, it literally just becomes a must summon at that point. Because Kama's good enough to use just in, like, kind of normie team comps, but once you can take her to that next level with Scotty, it's just destroy everything in the game. But looking at her hits, already just absolutely phenomenal. She has 4 hits on her quick cards, which she has 2 of, 3 on her 1 arts, 4 on her 2 busters, and 5 on her extra. Which 5 on the extra attack is that, like, chef's kiss, nice sweet spot, right? Very, very good. And Kama's NP gen is very, very high at 0.74%. So with 4 hits on the 2 quick cards and 3 on the 1 arts cards, she's basically just going to be getting her NP for free. And I mean, even just like looking at these hits, you're like, yeah, this is going to be a very, very powerful unit, just for no reason. We're just going to make this unit like really busted for no reason. Then there's her first skill, which this might even just be like the most lackluster skill of the bunch. Basically, you target an ally, they lose 1000 of their max HP, they get NP overcharged by 1 stage for 3 turns, so you basically get to overcharge somebody's NP, and then you heal 4000 of your own HP, which, I'm not gonna lie, you might just want to throw this on yourself, which I think is why it has such a massive HP buff, because you're going to want to throw this on herself, I guess, because Kama's overcharge effect on her own NP, spoiler alert, is very, very good. So just chucking this on herself to be like, oh no, I'm losing 1000 of my max HP, but then you heal 4000 HP as well, makes it a very, very powerful skill. Although you do kind of waste the healing if you're already at like full HP, and you got to understand that they don't necessarily counter each other out, because the debuff is that you're losing 1000 of your max HP, not necessarily losing HP itself, in which you then like heal it back. So you can be at full HP, like say you have like 12,000 HP, you lose 1000, well you're still at 11,000 of your full max HP, and getting that extra 4k doesn't really do anything for you. But if you can time it correctly, you can actually kind of use it to its full effect. And this skill is just very, very good, because not only does it allow Kama to overcharge her own NP with a very good effect, but it allows for other types of team comps, where Kama could start overcharging her supports, or can start overcharging maybe the secondary DPS to get their very good effects. And overcharging NP is somewhat of a rare effect. It's not super uncommon now currently, but it is, you know, not a very common thing to see. So it's very good that she does have it, right? Then she has a survivability skill, which is a guts for 1 time. Although the guts does not wear off, like there's no turn limit to it. It's just like, yeah, you have guts, and there you go. Enjoy having your guts, which is broken, right? Very, very good. It's similar to like how Ku's dodges don't have turn limits on them. It's just like, yeah, you have 2 hits of evasion, enjoy. It's the same thing. It's just like, here, have a guts for 1 instance, which is very powerful, because the second effect is a 30% attack buff for 3 turns, and that way you can pop this to get your attack buff, and you're not wasting the guts, because the guts will just always be there, right? It'll just stick around, and you're not going to waste it at any time, which makes this a very, very good balance of those usual skills where it's like, say, Raiko's Mana Burst, where she gets her big buster performance, right? But it also costs her dodge, and if you use it to do damage, you're wasting the dodge. But if you use it for the survivability dodge aspect, you're wasting the damage, right? Same thing for like Jack and other people like that. This is like the best way for them to do it, because it's like, hey, you can pop this whenever you want. If you need a guts, you can pop it, and you know, you're kind of still getting your attack that lasts for multiple turns, so it's not wasted on that 1 turn. Or if you need the attack now because you're gonna fire your NP or something, the guts will still be there, like it's just going to sit there. So it's really, really nice for that. Then there is like probably Kama's big dick skill. This is like the thing that everybody really heralds Kama for. She has a 50% battery, gives herself double damage against alter egos, and takes reduced damage from them for 3 turns, which basically makes Kama an alter ego killer, which, considering Lost Belt 4 is like right around the corner, I'm just telling you guys right now, there's an Ashia Doman and Arjuna altar fight that is very, very annoying, but if you just bring Kama, it's probably the easiest fight in the game. You just breeze through it, right? It just becomes a whole different ball game if you're using Kama. And it's like just that part of the skill that makes it so insane, because it's like not only is it a 50% battery, but it's also turning her into an alter ego killer, But then also, you reduce all of your enemy's charm resistance by 40% for one turn. So, you're meant to pop this with your NP, which it does have very good synergy because, this is your NP gauge. You're obviously going to pop your NP gauge when you want to use your NP. And so this is then helping your chance of charming your enemy because obviously, spoiler alert, her NP has charm on it. But then finally, she just gets a little bit of crit damage, 20% crit damage for 3 turns. It's a nice little effect. It's not a whole lot of crit damage, but considering she's a quick servant and Scotty's going to be giving her like 200% quick crit damage, I don't think she really needed any more quick crit damage. So giving her an extra 20% is a little insane. Then she has a lot of passives, or maybe not a lot. She only has 4, but they're like kind of big beefy passives, right? So she has like 20% innate debuff resistance, and she buffs her quick performance by 10%, as if she needed to do that anyway. She's immune to being charmed, which is just a nice thing to just be immune to, right? She has innate crit, mental debuff resistance, and insta-kill resistance, all of 6% as just like a result of her independent manifestation skill. So she just has like a lot of just like little things that they're just like, nah, let's just start throwing stuff at her, and like, we'll just keep giving her effects. Who cares, man? Just start giving her little things here and there. And then there's her NP, which is, not buffed, by the way. This NP could get buffed in the future, which is insane, which does a big single target damage to the enemy, has 10 hits, which means as a looping servant, that is very, very good. A lot of hits means more looping, more NP refund, and as a quick servant, it means more stars dropped. And she has an 80% chance to charm the enemy for 1 turn, and there's like no restrictions or anything on that. It's just like flat charm. It's not like, oh, I can charm a servant or a male, female, humanoid. It's just like, no, everybody getting charmed. There's no stopping Kama. Everybody's falling in love with her. And with her 3rd skill, this is basically like a 120% chance to charm somebody. And then her overcharge effect that we were talking about earlier is an increase to her quick performance for 3 turns that procs first. And it starts at 20%, but with overcharge goes up to 40%. So if you pop her 1st skill, you're already starting at 25%. And because Kama can loop her NP quite easily, especially somebody like Scotty, you're going to be stacking on a lot of these quick buffs as you consistently use her NP. So, moral of the story, Kama is very, very, very good. She's got pretty much everything you would want in one of like these servants like her, like these single target like challenge quest or boss killing servants. She's got everything, right? She's got a big time heal. She's got a little bit of support in her ability to charm lock enemies and increase overcharge of allies. She has a way to keep herself alive with her guts that doesn't disappear after a certain amount of turns. She's able to buff her own attack and buff her own quick performance to help her own damage out, and that's only going to be helped by people like Scotty and other supports. She has a big fat battery and a very good niche as an alter ego killer, because remember, in the story we're going to be fighting a lot of alter ego enemies, since alter egos are like the goons of the alien god. So we're going to be fighting a lot more of those alter egos in the future, and Kama having damage buffs against them makes her very, very good. And it's not like she's a niche servant where it's like, oh, her niche is killing alter egos. It's like, no, she's a good servant first that then picks up the niche of killing alter egos, just for whatever reason they tack that onto her, right? So, moral of the story, I would summon for Kama. Now, I'm planning on doing a video probably tomorrow talking about Kama versus Jack, and if you already have Jack, is Kama still worth summoning for? For right now, I'll just say yes, I would still recommend you throw some quartz at Kama, but I'll do a more detailed video talking about that comparison, because they're both very similar in how you use them and how they function in the game, and you'll get very similar mileage out of both Jack and Kama, but obviously I would say Kama is a lot better than Jack as a unit. So with that being said, leave a like, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. My name is ZTL. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Good luck on your rolls, and you guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace late, guys.